Welcome back to Darwin Awards, natural selection at its finest. Part 6. Yeah, that's right. We've done this 5 times already, and humanity still hasn't learned. Today, we've got another batch of bold geniuses who stared death in the face and said, "Hold my beer, watch this." So buckle up, because you're about to witness peak stupidity with real consequences. And hey, if you love watching evolution, do its thing in real time, smash that subscribe button, drop a like, and tell me in the comments, which story deserves the ultimate Darwin trophy? Let's get into it. Number 1. A beautiful sunny day. Waves crashing, seagulls flying, and 2 absolute brain donors with a genius plan. These 2 morons decide they're gonna break into a beachside shop. You know, steal some gear. Nothing says summer fun like petty theft. But they're not just criminals. Oh no, they're innovators. One of them grabs a drill to break into a secure locker. And because you can't commit a good old-fashioned burglary without style, he's holding the lock steady with one hand and drilling with the other. Except, plot twist, he's not wearing gloves or shoes or apparently a brain. The drill bit slips, slides right into his own skull, and lights out, genius. If you're gonna rob a place, maybe don't bring power tools you can't handle. And definitely don't point them at your face. Number 2. Next up, meet the man who thought electricity was more of a vibe than a science. This electrical wizard was trying to fix a power line. Simple, right? Except he forgot one teensy little step. Like, say, turning off the electricity. Instead, he grabbed a live, high-voltage cable like it owed him money. Imagine if Zeus in a toaster had a baby, and that baby punched you in the chest. That's what happened. He got blasted so hard he probably showed up as a new constellation. We don't know what he was trying to fix, but he definitely unplugged himself from life. Bright idea? Literally. Just not in the still breathing kind of way. Number 3. Oh, you're gonna love this one. So there's this guy, an aspiring TikTok star, YouTuber, whatever, and he wants to film something epic. He's near a rock quarry. There's blasting equipment. There's a phone camera. What could go wrong? He sets up his phone on the triggering device of an industrial rock blaster. That's right. This guy used a bomb detonator as a tripod. Now, in a twist that shocked literally no one with common sense, the device registered the phone's weight as a go signal. The explosion went off. Instantly, he didn't just lose his shot, he lost the ability to ever post again. It's the first time in history someone literally blew up their content and themselves. Number 4. We now present the human kebab. One fine Saturday night, our next Darwinian hero decided he wanted to show off his new fire-resistant jacket to his buddies. But what's a demo without a little vodka and live fire, right? So he douses himself in vodka, naturally, then lights up a skewer like he's at a backyard BBQ. Except alcohol is flammable, even the vapors. And guess what's not fireproof? His face. The moment he leans over the grill, whoosh! Instant face flambe. This dude turned himself into a flaming shot. Literally, the jacket worked. His body was fine, but his head? Not so much. Fireproof jacket, 1. Brain cells, 0 point. Number 5. Our main character here decides to attach himself to a bunch of helium balloons. Like actual weather-grade balloons. Think Pixar's Up, but with none of the planning and all of the Darwin. He floats up, and up past rooftops, trees, power lines. Somewhere around 2,000 feet, he realizes He doesn't know how to steer. He doesn't know how to get down. He forgot a parachute. Now the FAA is tracking him like a rogue UFO. Eventually, gravity remembers him. He starts to descend, balloons popping one by one. He crashes into a field and doesn't survive the landing. Buddy, this isn't Fortnite. There's no respawn when you try to hot air yourself into space on a budget. Number 6. So our next honorary Darwin recipient decided he wanted to impress, who knows, himself maybe? His plan. Create a super flash using a little thing called uranium. Yes, that uranium. This guy got his hands on a chunk of it. Probably not legally, definitely not wisely. And set up an experiment to demonstrate the glow of nuclear particles. You know, for science. And Instagram. Except uranium doesn't come with a user manual. Or a warning that says, hey, don't stand next to this for 3 hours straight. Which is exactly what he did. Just chilling with radioactive death like it's a tanning bed. He didn't blow up, but his organs sure did quit one by one. Radiation poisoning. Nature's way of saying, you're not ready for nuclear tech, Steve. Number 7. Now, let's talk about a man who took testing live wires literally. This electrical engineer, and I use engineer loosely, decided to test a high-voltage scintillation wire without insulation. Bare, metal, wire, high voltage. His method? Touch it. Apparently, he'd done it before. This time, however, the wire said, nah fam, and released enough current to launch him backward like a Marvel villain's origin story. Immediate cardiac arrest. Dead on the spot. You know what's more insulating than no gloves? Literally anything. It's always shocking how some people don't understand what shock means. Well, number 8. So there's this ski bro in the Rockies who wasn't content with boring old gravity. No, sir, he wanted speed. So what does he do? Attaches a jet engine to his skis. Now I don't know what part of aerodynamics he misunderstood, but here's what happened. He fires it up, starts going 80 miles per hour downhill, and realizes mid-descent that steering is more of a theory than a thing. He blasts right off the trail and goes full Wile E. Coyote into a pine tree, exploded like a snowman in July. At least he died doing what he loved, turning winter sports into NASA launch tests. Number 9. This next guy was very into lasers. So into them, in fact, that he decided to build one powerful enough to burn stuff, including his own eyeball. In a bold act of let's see what happens, he aligned the beam toward a reflective surface and stared into it. You know, because mirrors and concentrated light are just a myth, right? 1 second later, instant blindness in one eye. Not just that, and the trauma triggered a full mental breakdown. His friend said he was never the same again. No kidding, he looked directly into a sun-powered death beam. And now, instead of fixing vision, he's permanently subscribed to the dark mode lifestyle. Number 10. Meet the man who modified his own snorkel, a classic move from the how hard can it be category. He figured the tube was too long or too awkward, so he cut it short, right under the mask seal. Genius, right? Except he forgot one small issue: airflow. He dives into cold waters, takes a deep breath, and gets nothing. Water rushes in. The cold hits. Panic ensues. He flails around like a drunk seal, can't reach the surface in time, and glub glub, goodbye. Turns out snorkels aren't fashion accessories. Who knew? Number 11. Ladies and gentlemen, gather round for the dumbest magic act you'll ever not see. This aspiring illusionist thought it'd be really cool to put a loaded revolver in his mouth for a trick. Because nothing says trust me like sticking a gun down your throat in front of your friends. He pulls the trigger, Not as part of the trick, mind you, but to prove it's not loaded. Spoiler alert, it was. The gun goes off and his jaw takes a permanent vacation from his skull. No prestige, no applause, just a closed casket funeral. David Blaine, you're safe. Number 12. Next, meet a man who saw too many medieval movies and thought, I should protect my house with a giant trench? So he digs a 2-meter deep pit around his home, convinced that no burglar would dare cross the adult-sized sandbox of doom. Only problem? He forgot one minor detail. Physics. The sides of the trench collapse right on top of him, trapped under a DIY security system made of dirt. Turns out castles had stone moats and architects. This guy had a shovel and a death wish. Number 13. Here's one for the mixologists out there. A Canadian truck operator is cleaning out his cab when he stumbles upon a blue bottle and thinks, vodka? Because nothing screams top shelf liquor like something that smells like your grandma's kitchen counter. He chugs it. Turns out it's Windex filled with methanol. Not only does it not get you drunk, it gets you dead. Listen, I know Canada can be cold and lonely, but window cleaner isn't a cocktail. That's not Blue Lagoon. That's Blue Tomb. Number 14. Next, we head to Yellowstone National Park, home of beautiful geysers, wild animals, and apparently one 23-year-old genius who thought no swimming signs are just suggestions. He decides to soak in one of the thermal pools. You know, the ones filled with boiling acidic water and dissolve you in minutes vibes. He sneaks off the trail, jumps in, and sizzle pop, disintegrates faster than ramen in hot water. Rangers couldn't recover the body. Just his phone with selfies. Let this be a reminder, nature isn't a spa. If it's hot enough to melt your flip-flops, don't dip your meat suit into it. Number 15. Today stars a man with ambition, vision, and a scooter with a cape. This legend attached a flowing tail to the back of his motorized scooter because he wanted to look like a superhero. Not joking, he believed the visual effect would somehow make him fly. Well, he did take off, straight into a wooden fence at full speed, face first. Maybe not the skies he hoped for, but hey, brief moment of flight, followed by permanent grounding. I guess he really believed in himself. Until the fence didn't. Number 16. Two Russian guys decided a basic mirror selfie just wasn't cutting it anymore. So, what do they grab instead? A live grenade. Because nothing says likes like military explosives. They pulled the pin, yes, the actual pin, assuming it wouldn't go off unless they let go of the lever. Which is technically true, until someone flinches, laughs, or breathes too hard. One photo made it to the cloud. The cloud they're in now is, well, a bit higher up. If your selfie stick doubles as a detonator, maybe don't press the shutter. Number 17. Next up, a Romanian man with a genius method for checking gas leaks. Did he use soap bubbles? A detection device? His nose? Nope. He used a Zippo lighter. He leans in next to the propane tank, flicks the flame, and in one glorious moment of chemical harmony, the entire house detonates like a Michael Bay outtake. He dies instantly, and the structure becomes an abstract sculpture of regret. Checking for gas leaks with fire is like testing shark repellent by bleeding into the ocean. Number 18. A South African thief decided to take grave robbing to the next level. Literally. He started digging up a coffin, hoping to score some jewelry or valuables. Unfortunately, the soil wasn't in the mood. The edge collapsed mid-heist, and the earth did what no security system could. Buried him alive, inside a hole meant for someone else. Plot twist, He did get buried with treasure, just not the kind he was hoping for. Number 19. This brilliant young man climbed onto the roof of a moving train to steal an antenna. He may have missed a key detail. Trains often carry 25,000 volts of raw electricity through overhead lines. As he reached up, the arc found him. Instant zap, body fried, mission failed. Stealing train parts from the top of a live rail car is the kind of move that gets you posthumously honored in a YouTube compilation of why evolution works. Number 20. This Brazilian man wanted to multitask, saving time by shaving with an electric razor in the shower. Electricity and water, humanity's oldest frenemy duo. But this guy thought, what's the worst that could happen? Spoiler, death by electrocution, mid-shave. Found with foam still on his face. A tragic statue of poor decision-making and wet sockets. Listen, folks, if your bathroom activities require both voltage and H2O, pick one. Not both. Preferably the one that doesn't end with a crispy corpse. Number 21. A college student in Croatia, hosting or attending what we can only assume was the worst organized rave of the century. At some point during this party, our hero decides that regular juggling, balls, pins, maybe apples, just isn't thrilling enough. Nope. He thinks, what would really impress the ladies? Live munitions. So he grabs a live grenade, because in Croatia, apparently that's what you do, and starts juggling it. Live, grenade, juggling. Mid-performance, gravity, and Darwin step in to correct the evolutionary timeline. It drops, it detonates, boom. He's instantly launched into whatever afterlife explains why you thought this was okay, and 6 others are injured, probably from both the blast and the sheer secondhand embarrassment. Let's be real. If you're going to juggle your way out of the gene pool, go big or go boom. Number 22. Now we head over to Japan, where a man attempted suicide and somehow managed to make several wrong decisions in one go. First, he filled his apartment with propane gas. Okay, dark, but effective. Then, he passed out. But not from gas poisoning. From drinking, yeah, man pre-gamed his own demise. Because if you're gonna go, apparently you gotta do it with a buzz. Several hours later, he wakes up. In a propane-saturated room. The atmosphere is basically one big invisible bomb. He stretches, yawns, maybe scratches his head, and then lights a cigarette. Boom. He survived the initial suicide plan, but managed to blow half his face off and his apartment through the wall into next Tuesday. Imagine your neighbor calling the landlord, yeah, a guy just exploded into my kitchen. Can I get new blinds? Darwin didn't take him that day, but he definitely got an honorable mention and a lifelong reminder of what happens when gas meets Marlboro. Number 23. Back to Croatia, apparently the global headquarters for bad ideas with grenades. Marco, a man with soot problems, had a chimney that needed cleaning. So naturally, instead of calling a professional like a normal person, he thought, what if I use a grenade on a chain? Because what better way to clean soot than by sending a live explosive into a tight, enclosed space over your head? He welded the grenade, welded it onto a metal chain, and dropped it down the chimney like some sort of Eastern European Santa Claus of doom. Now, I don't know if you've ever welded something before, but hot metal plus live explosives, usually not in the home improvement section at Home Depot. Anyway, the grenade heated up, the fuse activated, and boom. Marco went from chimney sweep to chimney splatter. The explosion not only vaporized him, but also destroyed the workshop and even took out a nearby Mercedes that wasn't even part of this nonsense. Moral of the story? Just pay the damn sweep. Number 24. Now let's talk about a story that's so stupid it has become American folklore. The JATO rocket car. So here's how the legend goes. A guy in the American Southwest, of course, gets his hands on a JATO rocket. These are the kind of military-grade rockets used to help planes take off from short runways. He straps it to his 1967 Chevy Impala, because what else would a proud American do with literal jet propulsion? He figures, if this can launch a cargo plane, it can launch me straight into badass territory. He gets on a flat road, lights the JATO, and within seconds the car is moving at 300 miles per hour. Problem is, turns out at that speed, you don't steer, you fly. He hits a bump, goes airborne, and slams into the side of a cliff, some 100 feet off the ground. The car was fused to the rock. There was allegedly nothing left but a smoldering crater and some really confused highway patrol officers. Now, plot twist, this story was later debunked by Arizona authorities. But you know what? It's still one of the greatest. I believe it because I want to believe it. Darwin classics of all time. And honestly, sounds like something you'd try after 3 Bud Lights and a dare from your cousin Randy. Number 25. Now, for the grand finale, let's head to Brazil. One man, one RPG, that's a rocket-propelled grenade, not a role-playing game. Though this story is about someone pretending to have intelligence and one very bold repair plan. He tries to disarm the RPG by running over it with his car, which is both creative and stupid, like trying to disarm a landmine by dancing on it in flip-flops. Unsurprisingly, it didn't work. So plan B, he takes out a sledgehammer. He hits the unexploded RPG like it owes him money. And this time, it obliges. Boom. Instant detonation. 1 man dead, 6 cars destroyed, and the entire workshop is reduced to ash and bad decisions. Ladies and gentlemen, never, ever bring a hammer to a bomb fight. And that's it for part 6 of the Darwin Awards. A magical place where juggling grenades, welding RPGs, and smoking in propane-filled apartments somehow all seemed like solid life choices. Let's give a moment of silence for our MVPs. The Croatian chimney sweeper with a grenade on a chain. The guy who thought a sledgehammer could disarm military-grade explosives. And of course, the legend who literally lit a cigarette in a gas bomb he built himself. Natural selection, working overtime. If you laughed, cringed, or momentarily lost faith in humanity, do me a favor. Smash that like button, subscribe for more beautifully bad decisions, and drop a comment below telling me which of these brainiacs deserves the Grand Darwin Trophy. And remember, survival of the fittest doesn't always mean survival of the smartest.